Welcome to a game between HistidineStar in red, choosing shield bots and an engineer commander, versus Logix, using amp bots. So the map is Fallendell, and yeah, Logix is also using engineer commander, and he requested his replay. So let's see how he plays it. This map has two really good mixes at start, 3.5, that's high value. So you usually want to make like one con and make solar collectors to get to use that metal. Like you need to like make 3 or 4 solar collectors to even use that metal. At least 3. And then you have these expansions on the high ground that are pretty decent. It's not that hard to defend. Like if you get, there's like a few choke points that you can cut off, and you're pretty good. So this, while the middle is not that mech-centric, like there's no mechs in the middle exactly, but there's 2 side expansions, and some extra mechs here. So let's see how they play it. I think, yeah, let's see. His cons are, here's the thing, like what you want to prioritize. Do you want to prioritize making units or not, or do you want to make eco first? You're stalling on energy, so yeah, 3 solar collectors without additional solar collectors is a bit little. Making some wind here is pretty good, like you get a decent value, a wind. You also have decent value of a wind up here. Yeah, you're a bit slow with your ducks, but they could, if they went here, they could probably force the commander back, which would slow down his expansion. So if you had been here already, you would, yeah, those convex are pretty protected and a bit below turret there, so can't really do much there. But yeah, you could have like maybe forced the commander back before those bandits got made if you had advanced further. Meanwhile, yeah, you made some energy now, yeah. Luckily for you, the enemy could have sent a raider here earlier and raided this expansion. You didn't have much to respond with. And we see here 4 ducks versus 5 bandits. And yeah, it's a pretty even trade. Yeah, now that there are 3 bandits here and more coming, it's gonna be hard to make any value here. And and you can see how here of the economy is exploding. You're already up to 27 metal income. So at this point you should probably consider how you get more build power on next to your factory. But you're balancing your economy pretty well. Considering you have a radar here, do you need to make the defenses here? It depends on what you want to do. Like you could make the defenses here, but you could also try to advance forward with this. Considering you're making quite a lot of raiders, you could probably advance a bit further here before making these local turrets. But that's a taste thing. So, and you have no raider here, so making the Lotus here is pretty good. But Histidine, yeah, he has a reputation for liking his shield ball. So he's usually pretty economically focused. And yeah, he's managing to get, yeah, he's even a bit behind you. Well, about even. Meanwhile, you get a sneaky mix, that's nice. Do you lose a duck even? I lose 1 duck. Patting sent them back. So yeah, that's the thing you can do in the commander, it slows down the expansions. You could maybe have run there with a duck, try to get Spent Extractor, but Histidine has some bandits responders, so if you send down units here, you should expect to lose them. Especially as bandits are as fast as ducks, so you can't really outrun them. If you have glaives, you might be able to go down there and then retreat before you get surrounded and killed. But that's harder to do when the matchup is even like this. Meanwhile, you have no radar here. Like, I would probably make a radar here or here to see this incoming force. Now you're trying to make a stinger alone. Like, yeah, maybe if you had set this con on high priority, you could have gotten this, you couldn't have gotten some defenses up here. But now you don't even have any radar here, so yeah, that's a loss. and your raiders are out of position, even though you have more raiders than enemy. So that's kind of a big loss. This could be a pretty good trade. You should be able to get those turrets and get those 3 mixes. That should be pretty good. So that's nice. And you made quite a lot of caretakers. Yeah, but you should probably have made like another con to take these mixes a bit more quickly. You haven't really been able to check out his composition, but yeah, Histidine, he likes to only make a few raiders and then go directly for a shield ball. And you're retreating wisely against these units. You probably see on the radar that these are slow units. And yeah, they're coming for a commander. Yeah, your commander would die very quickly against this. So retreating there is a good choice. But yeah, you could have been pushing the enemy back here and not letting the enemy get here, because he had more raiders, although he got this position with the raiders, so that's decent. Going for early boys and going for an early grizzly against shield wall, that's fine. I tend to stay on spamming ducks a lot longer, but you probably know that you're gonna face off against a shield ball. Boys are also pretty good. They have a bit, like, tiny bit longer range than the Felon, but they're also quite tanky. So you might lose 1 or 2 boys, and then the Felon is down. But yeah, your Grizzly should be able to kite all these units. But your defense here is kind of weak, so yeah, you have to track it. But now you're draining the Felon, so that's good. You should be pretty safe here, I think. Yeah. You might even get a Felon really early. You should try to follow. Here's a situation where you don't want the Grizzly to. You should try to move your engineer commander back earlier, so that his Lotus turret is also in range. You might lose your commander here now. That feels unnecessary. You're barely gonna survive. Oh, that's so lucky. So that was a really nice trade for you. But yeah, you're letting your opponent out-expand you. But now you're gonna collapse on this shield wall. That should give you pretty good value. Like, the Felon should drain itself, shooting at the Lotus turrets and your shields. So yeah, this should be pretty well. Now you just need to rebuild here. But you can see here that you're losing expansion on the map. So yeah, you're getting behind in economy quite a bit. So now you just need to follow this army, and you should get it. You get a Felon. And nice movement there with the ducks inside the shields. Yeah. So yeah, I have some pretty good trades here. And you might even get a commander. Grizzly is pretty quick, so if you get a commander out of position, that's pretty good. But yeah, you're not expanding behind this, but you're pushing the enemy back with this army. And you're going for a lobbed shield ball, which is really hard to counter, and the enemy is also going for a lobbed shield ball. So you use the lobster to throw the units, and that's kind of hard to counter. A lone Grizzly should be able to deal with this. Yeah. So you have already gotten kind of value out of these armies, but now you should try. Like, you saw that the army wasn't big there, so you should probably try to advance here. But yeah, allowing the enemy to get this far with their expansion, it's gonna put you quite far behind. You can see here at metal produce here. The enemy is already 3,000 ahead, and even though you killed a bit more, it's still really even. But you could still have some good trades here, and you have some good trades here. It's gonna keep you in the game. But now your Grizzly is caught out of position, and against an ever-growing shield ball, this is what happens, especially a lobbed shield ball. So yeah, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. You saw that the enemy has a lobbed shield ball and a few Felons, and then you try to advance further. It's a bit risky, especially with a lone Grizzly like that. Oh, and he might even reload here again. He doesn't even need to, he gets the commander there. So that's a pretty big blow to you, losing the Grizzly and losing the commander. So yeah, if we look at the metal income here, you can see that he got ahead pretty early against you. So yeah, there's a lot of things you could potentially do different here. Like you're getting quite far behind here. This army is still bigger than his, so you could still get a good trade here. Maybe. But he lobs away, that's good of him. You could follow, let's see if you have enough. Should be a pretty even fight. You're a bit more value here. You get some value there. He's in your wrecking your expansion there though. But now his shield wall is going to the same size as yours. Yeah, once you are lobbing the shield balls back and forth, it's really like either you win or you lose. It's like, it's hard to disengage from that. So yeah, basically you have to be a bit more careful with your expansion. So if you look here, you could have been a little bit more active with your earlier ducks. You made 5 ducks, and the enemy hadn't even made like he made like a bandit very late, and you were standing here. And when you're standing here, you wasted some time standing there. You could have moved forward and tried to see what he's making. If you're scared, like if you pay attention, you should only you should see the felon before you lose any ducks, and she'd be able to retreat if you expect a felon or something. And he didn't really have bandits here, so if you ran here with like 5 ducks, he might only have 1 or 2 bandits at that point, and you could potentially kill the mechs, and he forces his commander back and slow down his expansion. So that would have been good, just check out, or maybe you could have tried to go up here, but it was all our Lotus turrets and 2 cons there, 2 shield cons. That's kind of hard to deal with, because they can just build a Lotus turret in their shield, and it's hard to deal with. So yeah, but you can see that you got behind from there, the metal income. You got a bit behind there. You lost the expansion here because you didn't have any radars and your raiders were out of position. So yeah, and then you didn't make enough cons to re-expand once you killed that shield ball. Yeah, but yeah, you did kill that first shield ball with the grizzly, so the grizzly was kind of worth it, but it's hard to say. Boys are also pretty good, like if you have the high ground advantage, like if you're in a defense position, then you can also be firing down and you get some extra range from being on the hill, which is pretty good. So if you're defending up here, the boys are pretty good. And before the enemy has their own lobsters, you can also lob forward the boys once the felons are drained. So there's a lot of things you can potentially do here. I'll leave it at that. Remember to re-expand and get some radar to see incoming raids. And then you have to choose, do I want to counter the shield ball with something, like a grizzly, or do I want to make boys, or do I want to stick to raiders and try the raiding while he's trying to make a shield ball and attack him elsewhere? Those are choices you have to make when you play against HistidineStar, because he usually goes for his lobster shield ball. And if you don't have the mass to kill the lobster shield ball, then you have to either raid around it and wait until you get a big enough army to counter it, or you have to prevent it from growing big. So yeah, there's a lot of choices how you engage a shield ball like this. Good luck and have fun.